retweet it. I did. Thank you, Gail and Nikki and Golfing Frog.
Frog. Nobody,
Penny, you can just call him Pepe.
nobody knows that. Like he got his account suspended, so he had to start another one. And he's golfing frog, but unless you read the whole thing, it's just golfing. Because who's gonna really go through that when spaces are crashing and everything's freezing? So we just go with the first thing that you see. I call him Froggy, but I mean, I don't know how
Works for
it's set
me.
up on my screen. It looks like he's looking at you, so I'd block your chest if I were you.
Works for me. I'm looking at Lala
Thank
and saying, "Space. Are you seeing those two women right next to you?" I'm just kidding. Those eyes
I
are
just want
everywhere.
to
They
say
look in all
thank
directions. I see you,
I
Anna.
I just want to say thank you to Penny and Annie and everyone who has actually followed and retweeted the space. And Penny, now you see how I feel when I get when I get blocked out because it is an absolute true thing. Um, so yes, now everybody can see I am being quite honest with you when it tells you you have reached your maximum limit. You have reached your maximum limit. So I thank you so much. I love you. I love you dearly, as I do each and every one of you in this space today.
No,
Go ahead,
I
you
love
guys.
you
Take it
too.
away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we have no hands up as far as that goes. Oh, yes, we do. Harris has his hand up. Go right ahead.
Hey, what's up? It's Harrison Bergeron. Thank you. I apologize. There must have been an audio issue. I couldn't hear anybody at all. But no, I'm literally a couple of miles from Hyannisport. That's where I live, and you know, the plane was shot down. It was a political assassination. Just like his father, and you know, there's a lot of witnesses that saw the explosion, and the debris was scattered everywhere, and
So let me ask you a question then, because you've said this before. So because it's called conspiracy and theories, right? So let me ask you a question. Do you think that Sandy Hook was real? Do you think that it happened the way that they said, and the people that were in that school died? I'm just gonna go. I'm just having a dialogue with you. It's not a catch-22. Yes or no?
well, I mean, yeah. Do I think it was real? I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
an honest question.
I really don't know. I mean, the thing is, you talk about rabbit holes. You got to be really careful with some of the stuff you see online. People, there's manipulation. There's a lot of,
No,
So I
didn't you watch the news?
did I watch the news?
Didn't you watch the news
I
feed?
know Alex. I know what happened with Alex Jones. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I don't really know.
No, no, no. I'm not. I'm just asking an honest question.
I looked into it a lot, and the whole Lanza thing. I mean, there was a lot there. I mean, I was skeptical, but I don't know. I don't really have a firm position on the Sandy Hook thing. I'm sorry.
So I was at the school shoot. I mean, I was at the mall shooting at Clackamas Town Center 3 days before that. So it made me go back and look at all of them. And Dawn Hawksprung, who was supposedly the principal of that school, died at Sandy Hook, and she was also, her exact picture was a person that died at the Boston bombing. So the only reason I bring it up is when people say witnesses and eyewitnesses and stuff like that, the media is a tricky fucker, is all. So there's always an open for interpretation. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. That's what Gail was saying, is we all have our theories of what happened. I looked really into Sandy Hook. Adam Lanza didn't go to that school. He went to Rose Lima School where they were doing a drill that day. So, and the reason Alex Jones lost his lawsuit is they weren't allowed to look at one video. And if you like looking at stuff like that, there were 7 people that were arrested for the shootings in that school, and 5 of them were caught on CNN's helicopter running through the woods, and you can hear the police scanners chasing them and rounding them up in the woods. So I just, I'm always one to say, police scanner videos, camera phone videos, audio, things like that make sense. Like the school shooting in the Covenant School in Tennessee did not happen. That's a cold hard fact. The videos refute it completely. Twitter's a great thing for that. So I'm not trying to rabbit hole you or pigeon you into a box. I just think that a lot of people with witnesses will say whatever they're going to say. All the witnesses said that JFK was shot from the car or from the grassy knoll. and there were hundreds of them. They all died. You know what I'm saying, Harris?
It's
Sorry, I
Har-
can't see your full
it's
name.
Harrison Bergeron. Harrison
Harrison,
Bergeron.
forgive me. Sorry, I can just see the first part of your name, like you can only see golf and
So you're
unknown. So I'm
suggesting
just
that
on my phone.
the Secret Service agent just turned around and shot him in the head? Is that what you're saying?
In the
Yeah.
car, you bet you did.
Okay. Because I mean, you're
You
stating a
bet you
lot
he
of
did. The
things
one
like it's
sitting in
just
the.
fact. I mean,
No, I'm giving my theory. Remember when I said conspiracy theory, and I'm not being literal? I mean, I state a fact about Dawn Hochsprung not being shot in that school because she can't be shot at that school and then also die in the Boston bombing. You can't have the same name, just like the guy that died in Syria and then died in Ukraine. And I have the clip that the
It was
news
Kabul.
wrote of the same person that's a journalist that died in two different spots with the same name and the same picture. Do you get where I'm going with that, Harrison?
yeah, I do. And the thing is, I
Okay,
wasn't talking
okay.
about any school shootings. I was more talking about political assassinations and who really runs, the country. You know what I mean? So
Sure,
it's kind
sure,
of a different
sure.
different
I was just,
topic. And like I know people, and I'm telling you right now, JFK Jr. is dead. And hey, you can have whatever theory you
I'm
want,
not saying you're
right? You can have
wrong.
any
I'm
theory you
not
want.
saying you're
I just,
wrong.
I just,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I was
the
just saying when Gail was saying her theory, people have a theory, is all.
yeah,
That's it.
and
That's all.
research the theory about the plane being shot down. That's all. That's a
I
theory,
have.
So
I have. I'm passionate
Harrison,
about JFK. Very
hey,
passionate about that whole thing, truthfully.
Harrison.
And I say that respectfully. Go ahead, Nikki.
So I'm gonna. Hi, Adrian. By the way, we have a new speaker.
Yo,
So
Adrian.
yo, Adrian.
So I say that respectfully, Harrison. And go ahead, Nikki. Sorry, I
Okay,
wasn't
so
trying to stop.
yeah,
I just wanted to say hi to Space Daddy. Hello, Space Daddy. Go ahead, you guys. Carry on.
I never call him Space. It's like, hello, Space Daddy. How are you today?
I was gonna do that, but I was afraid my voice was gonna crack like a freaking 12-year-old, like a freaking child's voice changing. Um, so I didn't want
Like
to
when
do.
Dom came on?
I could
No,
only.
it so did not. It absolutely did
Yes, it
not.
did.
No, not with my play Big Brother. No way. Absolutely not. If so, that was Flynn.
I
So
can. I can do that because I was coughing. I was having a cough drop, so my voice was able to go there. So anyway. Anyway, no. So Harrison, I just wanted to say, and we're not again to go back and forth, but if we're going the conspiracy route with the JFK Jr. plane, the one thing I remember hearing about was that there was someone who discovered. Now, mind you, back up there, because he was supposed to be running against Hillary Clinton for Senate, and he would have won. He would have beat her ass, and she would have just been like nothing. She would have been selling hot dogs on the corner somewhere, probably. But the story goes that it was someone found basically an explosive setup on the plane so that when it reached a certain altitude, it would blow up. So what's speculated, what the conspiracy is, the theory is that they had someone fly it and carry out basically how the flight would go, and they bailed out, let the plane reach the altitude at which it would die, crash, whatever. And that's kind of how that went. I never heard that it was shot down. It didn't, I don't think it looked like it was shot down, but that was just part of the theory when it came to that. So it was the altitude indicator on the plane that they had found, and
well, the witnesses,
so
saw a midair explosion. So it was either, something that was already on there or it was shot down. So, I mean, right. So,
absolutely,
so it's,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know that's kind of up in the air. But the thing is, here's what you guys always got to think about with conspiracy theories. What's the motive? What's the point? So when you're talking about school shootings, I'm assuming you're saying that the point is gun control, right? I'm assuming that's.
I wasn't going the school shooting route. I was
Oh,
just going
no.
on the JFK
Well,
flight. So
that's what I'm saying. So what would be the point of faking a death of JFK Jr. and then for 25 years, and what's the point of that? That doesn't make any sense to me. So you see what I'm saying? So
Because during that time frame, there were a couple of people that were under heavy investigation and huge lawsuits. Hillary Clinton was under so many various investigations, and Epstein was as well. Epstein's investigation resulted in him taking a plea deal, which then in turn made him an employee of the CIA, to which the whole rounding up of bad actors and bad players began. Although Hillary Clinton's investigations never stopped. Her lawsuit, they issued her heavy fines for one of her lawsuits, but the investigations were still ongoing, is what was reported. Ongoing, and we don't even know how long those investigations were going on. But during that time frame, they both were in trial around the same time, both Epstein and Hillary Clinton, and that would be the outcome of those two. Now, during those investigations, they could have narrowed it down and found some information. This is why most of us believe that the helicopter being shot down was staged to make everyone think that JFK Jr. Passed away in a plane crash, when in all actuality, he was taken to safety and put under witness protection.
okay, so
Well, I'm
you're
just
basically saying
That is
because
the
you
theory.
think he was going to be assassinated, so they faked an
Exactly,
explosion to
exactly,
protect him and then put him in. Okay, well that's pretty
exactly.
wild.
well,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. That is the theory. That is the theory because given the specific charges that were being brought up against her around that time, that would make that theory make more sense. So, and just having people that worked, just knowing older individuals that worked with various areas of the government during that time, if it's something that they think as well as a possible theory, I kind of want to believe them, considering what positions and what they did with the government around that time. So it's not a far-fetched theory. We've known many people to be protected in certain types of ways. Delusions or illusions, and look over here when really the issue is in the other direction type deal. So in other words, the theory is not that far-fetched. A
Gail,
lot of people in masses believe the same
Gail,
thing.
whoops, sorry, go
That
ahead.
is
Gail,
my name. That
Gail.
is
To
my
say
name.
that
How can
that
I help you?
theory, I'm literally right now, and was at the time, a few miles from the incident. To say that that theory is not far fetched, I mean, what I mean, it's ridiculous. Um,
Were you there? Who shot it down?
What's your credentials in the United States government?
Right,
so there
right.
was
Well,
no search party.
who shot it? No, no, no. Who shot
Ted
it down?
Kennedy had to call
Wait,
Bill
wait, wait, wait,
Clinton.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one question. Who shot it down? Did you see who held the bazooka?
It
Lee
was,
Harvey Oswald from the Grassy Knoll.
he's really no, really what he's saying is, I don't know, like it's funny that you're like laughing at the initial conspiracy theory that has been for the last decade well, among the conspiratorial community. What he's saying is the through line of like, okay, NORAD, there was some fishy business surrounding at least the recovery effort from like the top down all the way up to the Pentagon level. And like to say
Exactly.
hold on, to say that fishy business was because they were fishing him out in some sort of like live and let die, or what is it? You only live twice James Bond thing. It's probably not that, because it's probably not the only live twice thing, because because they in this scenario, like let's say CIA, Pentagon, like they weren't really into the Kennedy family, like in a big way. They were not into them in a way that they were like killing off Kennedy members, you know. So like, to me, you know, when I look at the compendium of evidence, I like Harrison. It seems to be putting forward a pretty straightforward like through line that I think, and like when you were saying like the tie-in with the hill, like I don't see the tie-in, like I don't see any of the connection there. Like I see why there would be people who don't like the Kennedys.
Well, yes, you
and
know
who have
why?
taken out the sign.
You know why they didn't
But
like the Kennedys, Shelby? Because the Kennedys are
definitely,
outsiders. The Kennedys are
yeah,
political outsiders, just like Donald Trump. Okay, so
well,